Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to North Sydney Oval. A grand sight here on a gorgeous afternoon, jam-packed. We're looking down the barrel at a record crowd for this match. Manly and Norths, standing room only. In fact, they've had to let the kids on the field. At either end of the ground, around the 22s, they have swelled out near the sideline. Magnificent condition, the ground. Some of those standing on the wall on the hillside, some inside the fence, some outside. So some will have a free afternoon out.
I think some must be up on step ladders.
Well, talking of steps, they are. All the steps of the grandstand are taken. And the kids looking ahead to what promises to be one of the matches of the year. Well, those branches are going to take plenty of pressure this afternoon for a bird's eye view, and that is a bird's eye view. Great afternoon out at North Sydney. Entertainment plus it has been all season long from this club. Jacko, Peter Jackson, of course, who was out missing from injury today for Norths. O'Connor brings Manly out first, so the visitors steal a march. On the home side, North Sydney, and surprise all the fans. Not their own, though, who are here in big numbers. Next door neighbours, Manly. The Bears fans say to the Manly fans that they have to travel with a passport these days on this side of the harbour. No love lost between the two. That'll be the case as soon as we are underway. And the roar for the side at home this year, who have given their fans so much to shout about. You might say back from the dead, the Bears in rugby league in 1991. What a sight at North Sydney Oval. And Fennick will bring out that roar, even greater for him. Number one he is at North Sydney. He's turned into a real cult figure at this ground. They have been bruising everybody. Their fans think they can be number one this year. Tony Ray, the skipper, to try and head them in the right direction and maybe consolidate that top three. We stand by. Referee Bill Harrigan, of course, back to number one for this MMI big game. And we stand by for the playing of the national anthem by the Killarney Heights High School Band. And the anthem to be sung by Mr. David Lemke of the Sydney Opera Company.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with gold and soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The big crowd has been waiting all afternoon long for this one. And the sides, North second on 26 points, Manly 23. Norths can cement their position. Manly with a win, for and against, maybe they can grab third. Round 4 this year, Manly 14, the Bears 10. The Bears out to turn it all around. Halligan sending it down for Reg to hand it off now. Stokes taken over the top by Toole. Hosking. Swinging arm over the top from Adrian Toole, finished off by Jarvis and Fennick. Bella. The Sea Eagles need him at his best. John Jones The fresh reserve sideline. Let's kiss David Alexander. Eyeing the early action as the kick goes down to Wilson. What an afternoon for football. Around 23, 24 degrees here at kickoff. Halligan from dummy half. Trying to throw little Jeff Tooby away. Takes him to ground. The Manly bench just as nervy early on. Fennick, fumble. Ball has rolled forward. So the scrum to go down just short of halfway. Little mistake from Fennick, who was trying to keep it alive. I think somebody grabbed his arms just as he passed. It was Hancock.
Plenty of pressure in this game, Graham. In fact, so much that the Manly players were barred from speaking to the media leading up to this match.
Interesting. We thought Florimo would start at 5'8". Bill Anderson, Phil Blake went to the 5'8" role in defence there from that scrum. What about these changes in the back line?
Well, I think that's a huge risk. Cliff Lyons is the playmaker for Manly. If he has a big game, then Manly will run hot. They need defence there at 5'8". Blake doesn't provide that.
Bella makes it over that advantage line. He was supported by Hancock, who will get the penalty. Against Fennick for not getting off him quick enough. Bella got a good ball away to Hancock, and then it was Fennick laying all over him, slowing the play down, not to the liking of Bill Harrigan. Manly on the attack, right on the 22. Inside the first 2 minutes, and a chance for the Sea Eagles. Hosking hammered by Toole. Jones across the ruck, straightening, trying to find some space up the middle. Roberts on the fringe, taken by Larson. Also McPhail, 10 metres away near the posts. They switch back. Tooby to Lyons. Lyons looking for a short ball to Ridge. Taken easily by Florimo.
And North Sydney read that one extremely well. They had numbers back here to cover.
Little dummy from Lyons. For a moment there was nearly a chance back on the blind. Ridge to the in goal. It is too deep. Wilson gets a push in the back. But there was some slipping in the in goal from the North's defence. And for just a second there, Ridge thought he was a chance. Wilson did slip. But they are very, very short in goals here at North Sydney.
And Ian Roberts had positioned himself under the goalpost there for Manly. He was looking for the bomb.
Hall bringing it out. 295 points they've posted this year, North. 313 Manly, the better attack. Very little in the defences. In fact, Manly have scored 48 tries, North's 46. Fennick with a line ball pass away. Back it comes for Jason Martin. He waits this one, but that will be too deep. So back to the Manly 22.
And it's quite obvious there that North Sydney has the crowd watch on. They're obviously excited, but North Sydney playing the game at 100 miles an hour. That's what they want to do right throughout this match. Try and get Manly backpedaling in defence. It's their best opportunity to attack. 9 wins out of 9 performances at home, North. Roberts standing looking for support. Manly have won 4, drawn 1 and lost 3 of their visits to the opposition. Lyons. Short angle, but on the second bounce, no, first bounce. He gets it over the sideline. Nice, cool play from Lyons. And whilst Lyons kicked that ball, he had a deep back line lined out, and the option was there to pass the ball, but Cliffy Lyons kicked the ball, but Phil Blake came out up at 100 miles an hour. He's obviously under instructions not to give Cliff Lyons any room to move whatsoever.
Wayne, would it have been Balmain's tactics? But against a side like Manly, who play so much ad-lib style of football, you put it on them out wide and try and force it back, the pressure up to the forwards?
Exactly what Western Suburbs did last week against Manly. It worked last week. I'm sure Steve Martin took note of that, and that's what they'll try and do again today.
0-0, Norths and Manly. Adrian Toole. There's been a tremendous front row for them this year, Toole and Jarvis. No irony in the fact that the last 2 television games that we've had the Bears, their front rowers have taken out our Man of the Match awards. Wilson with a little chip down to Stokes. That man is way offside. So David Hall had gone downtown for the kick into the arms of Stokes, and he was only a metre or 2 away.
Yeah, playing Russian roulette there. It's very dangerous to do things like that. But North can't afford to give away too many penalties in this early period, because it's very dangerous to give Manly possession, whether it be early in the game or late in the game. They've got to try and dominate the terms.
Bella. "40 metres out from the North line. Tuvey. Tuvey taken high. Around the shoulders," said Harrigan. Dunford out of dummy half. Tuvey is such a little man. It was Jarvis who tried to monster him, and the tackle starting off just around the top of the ball. He put his arm up to protect himself. O'Connor now to the other side of the field, so it's a nice solid start for Manly. No errors, and that'll help settle down their play.
And interesting to note that Manly in these early exchanges aren't prepared to throw the ball around as we've seen them in the past few weeks. They're working hard football. They're working the yards up the centre of the ruck and kicking early.
And the veteran Pat Jarvis in the number 8 jumper for North packs in to I don't know scrum number what after 300 grade games. Tremendous career.
He seems to have been around for an eternity. In fact, Pat reckons the best player he's ever played with is Dally Messenger.
He's had a tour of duty at Norths, East, St George and Canterbury. Tony Ray taking it away from the 22. The Bears 22-16 winners in President's Cup. 40-10. They took out Manly in reserves. Harrigan had waited for Manly to get back on side. They didn't. So he's doing his best to put his mark on this game and keep the two sides apart. Open it up for the ground record crowd here.
And Bill Harrigan under a bit of pressure as well. He's been out of the limelight for the past few weeks, refereeing lower quality matches. He's back in line, in the firing line today, and he's looking to establish himself once again as the number 1 referee, looking towards a grand final.
Everybody goes through a slump. Maybe he's had his.
Players have theirs, and referees must have theirs as well.
Jarvis trying to run right over the top of Matt Dunford. Adrian Toole breaking the tackle of Roberts. Harrigan another penalty. And this will allow North Sydney with the chance at some points. Manly coach Graham Lowe with a perfect view from way up high here at North Sydney. Halligan with this kick from about 33 metres out. This match, of course, setting up two of the best teams in the competition, but it is setting up two of the best goal kickers in the Winfield Cup. Halligan going up against Ridge. Now Halligan, who has posted 154 points this year, trying to bring it around. He sprayed plenty of sand with it, and he sprays the attempt. It remains 0-0, Norths and Manly. Frank Stokes with the restart for the Sea Eagles.
That was a pretty tough kick all the same, Graham. There's a breeze coming down the field. He was kicking off centre for that effort, so I mean it would have been a huge kick if he had to put it over.
That
no matter how easy they are, pressure makes the difference.
And that breeze a little bit behind the Bears, Bill.
There's not a lot to it, Graham. It's coming from the northwest, basically going across, but it's just tickling the flags at the moment.
I think he's a closet North Sydney fan, God, because every time we've been here for a home match this year, the weather has been sensational.
It's no wonder that they've broken or look like breaking the ground record for the 3rd time this year.
Yeah, the officials are still out the back trying to count. We'll have the figure later on. Martin. Normally those figures are available just after the half-time break. Ridge stands his ground well. Steps a couple of tackles too.
He's shown this year that he's not afraid to take that high ball. He's showing a lot of courage again today. He was put under enormous pressure. he'll do the same again next time he goes to take the high ball.
Kevin Iro plays it back. The dummy from Dunford. Bit of a roll on, it'll be a penalty. Larson was the man in the way of Jeff Tuvey in the dummy half area.
There's some gamesmanship there from Gary Larson. He pretended that he couldn't get out of the way, but I think if he had have made an effort, there's no reason why he couldn't have jumped out of the way.
Well, Tuvey had no chance to get the ball. Jarvis wanted it. Bella. What a roll on he got for Australia in the test on Wednesday night.
Yeah, he had a big game the other night, and he's one of the key men in this match. I mean, with the 4 Manly players in this match, their penetration in attack is going to be very hard to contain.
Roberts likewise can do the job too. He takes on Mario Fenech. They have the penalties, 3-2 Manly. Lyons, the danger man. Short ball for Hasler. Hasler gets it back to Lyons, around the back to Kevin Iro. He stands in a tackle. Stokes gets started. Manly with the best chance so far. Trying to open up this play. Tuvey wide. Hancock is in there. Quick hands. Hasler on the wing. Hasler steps 1. Now back to Hancock, who was taking the second pass around 5'8". He stayed alive and ended up back into his rightful position. Good passing and good support from the Sea Eagles either side of the field.
Yeah, tremendous support play here, keeping the ball alive. Desi has the breaks out of that tackle from Halligan, and we get good support. He gets good support from Hancock coming around, but a great covering tackle there from Gary Larson.
North's come up with it from the scrum.
I think Norths will match Manly in most places in defence today, but the couple of question marks I've got are their ability to handle Cliff Lyons and Kevin Iro. I think they're the 2 trumps for the Sea Eagles.
Here's one trump for Norths now, making some ground. Fenech back to Halligan. Manly have won 6 of the last 8 clashes here at North Sydney Oval. So the Bears trying to put that record straight. They have the scrums 3-1. Wilson.
It really shapes up as a battle of North Sydney's forward pack against Manly's backline, and it's a matter of whether Manly can outplay them out wide.
Harrigan is playing an advantage here. Now he's going to get Roberts for turning his back into Blake. Now, this can be an interesting one too, because Roberts, of course, doesn't have to take or get out of the way of Blake, although he did look as though he dropped the shoulder.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt he ordered his direction so that he dropped his shoulder into Phil Blake there.
Harrigan has been strong on everything from the start. Martin puts it out to the sideline. Manly coming off the loss last weekend in the Winfield Cup 9-8 to West. The Bears off a 12-6 victory over Parramatta. Switching of play for Florimo. Fenech. This big crowd sets up their first roar for Norths as they go on the attack at the 22. McPhail ducking through. 10 metres away. He just needed some support on his right. Now they go left. Blake. On his day, he can be a real match winner. Pushing the pass back. The Bears have fumbled. Ridge taking the heat off his forwards. He was well and truly wrapped up. Blake looking to get it back to Martin. The ball bouncing back for Hosking.
And there we saw a good indication of just how strong Jeff Tuvey is. Phil Blake is very strong for his size, but Tuvey was able there to lift him up and pop the ball out. And there he is there, very, very strong. And he's up there in the running for the Rothmans medal and Dally M's again this year.
Lions, the Dally M of last year. Lions to O'Connor, some sparkling play. Good kick from O'Connor, back to Hancock. The bounce all important. Great chasing. Jason Martin was there on cue. Last tackle, Manly to go wide. O'Connor now to the in-goal touch. They'll get 6 more. Ridge flies high and grabs it. Only 2 metres away. They're short out to the right, Norths. Manly can't get it there.
There's only one North Sydney player on the far side of the field.
Now the advantage had been played for a long time by Harrigan. Now I'm just wondering whether he has got Ray for offside. He must have. He walks him back to the try line to suggest to everybody that he had played the advantage for as long as possible.
Well, that raises the question, is that a sin bin offence?
Well, I guess it always comes into the professional foul area. But they were gone if Manly could have got it right. And now Ridge with this opportunity. And the two best goal kickers in the rugby league head to head, Matthew Ridge and also Daryl Halligan. Great percentages from both players. 53 from 86 for Halligan. Make it 87 with that first miss, 61.62. Matthew Ridge, 54 from 67. What a percentage. You'd love to own him. 80.59. And it's Manly that do. A much easier attempt first up for Ridge. He has these for breakfast. Manly draw first blood. The MMI big game from North Sydney Oval. They lead 2-0. Plenty of action at either end to entertain this huge crowd at Norths. Basking in sunshine. It's like summer here today. Well, there's no Jacko. How about that for Two Bears today? Action Jackson is missing from injury after the test on Wednesday night. Lyons to link up with Hancock. Dummies to him, and he gets creamed by Florimo. Big tackle from Florimo. Now a good gain by Hosking. There's nothing different, Bill, and there's nothing like it. A big crowd, and the players always rise to it.
Brings out the best in them, doesn't it? You know, players get to the ground and they start to see the fans piling in, and the adrenaline starts to pump.
They're not missing each other in defence either.
Pretty strong, isn't it, at the moment? Very solid. Something will give here, but I think it'll take a while. It'll be a war of attrition.
Maybe being won a little bit by Hasler as he gets up the middle to halfway. Ridge to put a good kick behind it all. Drives it low to the far sideline. Just staying away. Wilson put down on the 22. A little bit of an advantage seemingly going for Manly, who are lifting their play. Norths look to Blake.
And Manly settling into semi-final mode. They're not taking anywhere near the same number of risks that we've seen them take over the past 6 or 8 weeks, or most of the season for that fact. They're playing safety first football, starts from dummy half, and as the game continues to unfold, I'm sure we'll see Cliff Lyons use his backs a lot more.
Tony Ray not happy with the kick. He wanted to keep that in play. The crowd just settles as the pace slackens for only about 15 seconds. Bella brings it up. You talk about those semi-finals. We've got 4 rounds to the big ones. A month of Winfield Cup football to work out whether your season has been a big one or it's maybe been all for nothing.
And just about every match that will telecast will be an all-important match, because teams still juggling or jostling for positions for the top 5 and in fact the top 3, including these two teams.
And you won't be missing anything, as with the MMI big game going to 2 hours. Right through the semis up to our big telecast grand final day. This time Ridge does find the sideline right on the 22.
Well, the players just walking back, taking their time, because it's very, very warm out there at the moment. It got up to about 25 degrees a little earlier on. It'll probably be still around 22, 23 degrees at the moment. And the pace of this game is going to certainly take its toll as the game continues to progress.
David Hall going from the far wing. Blake to Conlon. Taken low by Lyons. Blake up the middle. You can't leave this man a gap. He was marked. Keen to get back and impress in the top grade in this match, Bill Blake, but he's gone to sleep here.
Yeah, I'm sure it was just a lack of communication. Well, not communication. He'd probably been out for a little bit too long, forgot the rule. He's been struggling with injury so far this year. He's had hamstring problems. He's had knee problems, but he's a player that they really need coming up to the big games, but don't know what the problem was there.
It just makes me think that without Peter Jackson there, we'll see a bit more ad-lib from North. So I think they'll lack the direction and organisation that's got them home in a few of the tight ones.
This one is about in line with the left-hand upright. 33 metres out. One from one for Ridge. A North fan who's trying to, or hoping to God that this one goes wide. Very few from there go wide. Ridge does it again. And Manly, thanks to 2 penalty goals, take it to 4-0. Halligan with the restart for North Sydney. Guilty of a couple of mistakes. Mistakes that get punished. Ridge takes it. He's added the 2 penalty goals. He offhands this one to Stokes. Steve Martin, no doubt, or would have said all week long about let's not give any penalty chances to Ridge.
Yeah, he realises how dangerous Ridge is, but I suppose Steve Martin has got the inside mail on Manly. He's played there for so long, and he probably knows just how much this particular match means to them, how much it means to the whole area. But he's a very cagey customer, Steve Martin. He was a great schemer as a player, and he kept the starting lineup a mystery up until the actual players ran on the field, and he started with Scott Wilson at fullback.
Hasler allowed the luxury to run from dummy half to Kevin Iro. Stokes to Roberts to Lyon. Brilliant play. More support. Hancock. He came screaming from this wing right in front of the main grandstand. Now O'Connor kicking ahead to the in goal. Wilson gets back. Bouncing. He will run it dead. Big passage of play for Manly. Some magnificent rugby league. Every time they make a break, somebody's there. This time the kick was too deep, although Wilson was forced to play.
Yeah, that's Manly's strength, is break and field play. You can't afford not to have a good chase downtown on them when you kick. You can't afford to not move up quickly on the edges of the ruck, so you'll pay the price. And fortunately for the North Sydney supporters, they didn't pay the price there with the try, but it was very close to it.
Lions, impressive so far. Stokes. Stokes bounces one out. If he could have kept his feet there was more trouble. Ridge might have another chance.
And they're cutting their own throats. They can't afford to give away so much possession to Manly. Manly's a side that if you're going to beat, you've got to starve them in possession.
Now O'Connor's going over to speak to Ridge. Between them, they decide to go for goal. Might have been on the back of the mind of O'Connor because it was out near the sideline. He might have thought the Norths were ready to crack for a try.
He might have then run over to our monitor and just shortly, just a moment ago, and had a look at the percentages. Graham Lowe may have been on the phone, on the other hand, and told Michael O'Connor to instruct him to kick for goal.
Two from two for Matthew Ridge. Halligan unsuccessful with his first attempt, but he'd be happy if Manly start giving away some of the penalties that Norths are. Out near the sideline, difficult kick. Plenty of pressure. He knows how to handle it. This time it doesn't come around. It remains 4-0 Manly over Norths.
Well, North Sydney got to get a good chase from this drop kick downfield. They can't afford to let Manly get too much possession in their own territory, in the North Sydney territory. Otherwise, the scoreboard's going to keep ticking over in Manly's favour right throughout this first half.
Norths have built a successful year so far on not making defensive errors and not making handling mistakes. So far, that's abandoned them today.
There are too many mistakes. Dunford. thing about Norths, they will hang in there no matter how they're playing. That is a big difference to their normal seasons. Lions trying to get these supports away again. Robertson Hasler were running very close to his left shoulder. Now he spins it back to Tuvey, to Ridge. Underneath the tackle of Blake. On the last, Lions. Keeping it along the deck for Wilson. Stands there. And he's taken by Lions, who put the kick through.
And Manly increasing the tempo of this game as well. They obviously realise they've got North Sydney on the rack, and they're trying to apply as much pressure as possible.
We've been used to seeing North Sydney play like men possessed, but at the moment the intensity's not quite there.
It was for Roberts, who hammered Jarvis then. Fennick ducking. And into some trouble, but he gets a good ball back. Martin, some hands now to Larson. Larson flicks it to Florimo. Norths. Florimo upended by Hosking. Tony Ray with the kick. He gets it away from Ridge to allow his chasers some time. Ridge is taken over the top by Halligan. O'Connor down a short blind side. Stays away from the line. Hancock. 35 tackles overall. The Bears have had it, 50 for the Sea Eagles. Jones stepping inside a tackle but loses it. And Norths have it. Manly, of course, have the possession overall in the opposition half by 8 tackles. Blake steps one. Tried to get it around the back for Florimo, but the pressure of the tackle forced the fumble.
I think that's a pretty good example of North Sydney trying to ad-lib their way through this game rather than have direction and pattern their way through it.
Tuvey out wide, the call comes from Lions. Lions way out wide to Stokes. Stokes has Oro and Hasler backing up. He was ankle tapped. Great covering effort by Blake to put him off. Lions it is that calls from Hasler out wide. Now Dunford up the middle. Stepping. They've scrambled after a couple of breaks well, Norths. Roberts. Keeping one arm free, looking for support. Taken heavily by Fennick. 4-0 Manly. Looking for the first try. Hosking. 10 metres away. Make it 8. Still some tackles up their sleeve. Lions on the inside to Hasler. Desperate stuff from the Bears. Lions trying to keep this one in play. Wilson's there. Chased by Ridge. He gets into play. Hall is tackled. Put off. So the kick again. This time it was weighted well by Lions, and he had Ridge on the chase. Good positional play from Scotty Wilson.
I think with these in-goals being as narrow as they are, it's much better option to put the ball in the air. You've got a much greater chance of scoring a try, given there's not much room for the ball to run in.
They get a penalty that they certainly will enjoy, Norths. Fennick was trying to get to his feet, and it looked as though it was Dunford who knocked the ball out of his arms. Dunford just having something to say there, stealing it.
Yeah, Fennick forced the error there. He got to his feet as fast as he possibly could, and Dunford wasn't prepared to concede the tackle and paid the penalty.
Toole. Good effort from the Bears, Bill, to survive a couple.
Well, they're playing pretty courageously, aren't they? Things haven't gone their way, but Ray breaks a break now.
Ray sends them on the boil. 32 away from Manly's line. They line deep. Martin to Blake. He cuts out Wilson to Florimo. Florimo popping it up for Halligan, but he only sent it as far as Hancock.
Well, that's another example of North Sydney trying to push passes. They don't have to deviate from their game plan of working into a good field position. Here, the ball went out along the back line. Florimo halfway through a tackle, pushed that pass, which wasn't on, and they've forfeited possession.
Dummy from Dunford up the middle. There was plenty of room. So the markers getting too keen in that area. They were chasing across the paddock. They left it open.
Cliff Lyons coming off for a rest. This is an important one, and Owen Cunningham goes on in 40.
So Lyons is rushing to the dressing room, and he doesn't look to be running very clearly.
Now, at the same time, Graham, Billy Moore, number 40 for North Sydney's on the sideline. We don't know who he's replacing as yet.
Cunningham for Lyons, and Moore trying to get on.
Replacement for Norths, number 11 Mario Fennick, replaced by number 40 Billy Moore.
Fennick leaves the field, so two of the guns leave us. Two of the key men. Roberts standing. They've had a couple of chances, Manly. Norths have clung on well. Can they hold again? Jones up the middle. Right in front of the post. Only 5 metres away. Hasler. Tooby shows it. The defence holds for him.
Don't be surprised if they bomb for Roberts.
O'Connor, little chip. Too deep. So they haven't worked out these in goals, causing Manly a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, as we said, pointed out, Graham, a very short in-goal area here, and that ball went out on the full. Never looked like being able to regather that, but just pointing out that Mario Fennick's left the field. He's the last player that Steve Martin would have wanted to take off if he was 100% fit. Maybe he's suffering problems related to that knockout last week. I don't know, but Billy Moore, who's the player that's on there, is a very good player as well, a very good attacking player.
Fennick's injury report is a thigh injury. It's a cork, and they're having a look at it.
Very difficult if a cork forces you from the field to come back from it.
Yeah, there's not much you can do in the way of treatment to get it right to get back on the paddock.
Stokes chasing the ball down to his own in goal. And he's got 3 Bears in front of him. Iro stepping beautifully and nearly right through. Bella, Tooby. The Bears are caught inside the 5.
And Graham, John Jones has just been carried from the field for Manly. He looks like he's in pretty bad shape. He's been replaced by 41 Chris White.
So there's players dropping down everywhere. Jones. Very distressed.
Just try and get up yourself, Jack. You'll be right.
Trying to settle on the location of where this match is being played at, I think, by the looks of it. Chris White gets out there for Manly.
I feel like an ambulance officer, but the report on Cliff Lyons is a hamstring injury, but they hope that he'll come good. They're stretching it up.
It didn't look too good the way he tried to hobble towards the dressing room. Chris White. Still enough guns for both sides out there. Tooby. Roberts flicking it back for Hasler. Hasler one way then the other. Now to O'Connor to straighten. Beautiful step from O'Connor. And again. Now to Hancock. He'll come away from the line. O'Connor. He's finally taken over the top by Billy Moore. Most of the attack being laid on by Manly, but excellent North Sydney defence. Cunningham charged onto that. Now he throws a ball that wasn't needed because Hasler had overrun him. The big crowd, the big atmosphere, the importance of this match. Maybe the nerves are getting to some.
Yeah, that was great gap running there, Graham, but maybe the nerves are. It certainly is a pressure-packed game, and the North Sydney defence really is falling apart on the edge of the ruck, and they're not moving out wide as quickly as they need to.
But their scrambling is good. 4-0 Manly over Norths.
I'll tell you what I think's happened to the North Sydney defensive line. They know that the Manly back line's potent, and so they're stretching out wide to try and cover it and mark them up man for man, and that's leaving a few spaces in the centre and on the edge of the ruck. That's the way I'm seeing it from down here.
Inside the last 5 before half-time, so we've gone 35 without a try. Starts us thinking back to last Friday night at Campbelltown, and talking about that, we had a ground record crowd there as well. Fennick getting that cork thigh heavily strapped. He wants to get back out there. Ridge. Norths with a perfect straight line, chasing that ball downtown. Iro. The marker was on him quick, I think too quick. He didn't look to be onside.
Well, they need to improve their work at mark in North Sydney because they haven't really been working hard enough in that area.
Stokes just playing this one outside his 22 for Roberts. Roberts has been looking to unload every time he's hit the line.
And you'll hear a cheer in a minute because Fenwick's just about to come back on.
Hasler will play it on the last tackle. Difficult ball back for Ridge, but he takes it well, gets the kick in. And David Hall can do little or nothing about it. His first 40 highlighted by a solid performance at the back from Ridge. Did say heavily bandaged that Cork Fire, Fenwick. Under about their third roll of tape.
Looks like a plaster cast around his thigh. Knock yourself out trying to tackle him.
It looks more like one of those things that runs around on a Friday night at Harold Park.
I wish I'd have been the man that invented sports tape.
You'd have something behind you, Bill. Jason Martin tackled now.
Nearly as much as you.
Villivor. 40 metres out, the Bears from their own line. They get a penalty. And it will be Manly now to handle the last couple of minutes down at their own end. It is the old adage of holding the player down.
And it really is a danger period coming up to half-time, Graham. In so many pressure games as this, so many games are won in this 2 or 3 minutes before half-time.
That says a lot about the way this north side has hung on in this first half, the way they've scrambled each and every time. Manly have looked good. 8-6, the Sea Eagles have the penalties. Martin to Billy Moore, 2 off the ruck. Taken heavily by Hasler. Blake. Martin. The 2 little halfbacks follow each other around. Blake with a long ball out to Florimo. Florimo popping it up for Jarvis, likewise for Hall. Here's a chance, McPhail. He had men outside. He loses it. Stokes comes up with it on the break. If he had it gone the first time, he had 2 men outside him. He decided to go alone. Chris White working hard down the short blind side. Very wide is Turvey. Hasler. Ridge. Somebody needed to straighten up the attack there. Cunningham does.
And it's obvious that Cliff Lyons' departure from the field is affecting Manly's attack out wide. They're lacking a bit of direction on the edge of the rucks there.
Good support play in the forwards. Here's a chance. O'Connor steps Martin. Will he kick ahead? Hasler's there, and so too is Blake.
And a good decision by referee Bill Harrigan. There's no way that was a penalty from the kicker ahead. Wilson just stood his ground.
I can see O'Connor having a go at the touch, Judge, but you're quite right, Bill. The kick ahead, and Wilson was entitled to stand just where he did.
Wilson couldn't get out of the way even if he tried to.
Now Lyons is back out.
Come on, Brad.
But if it is a hamstring, he may end up doing more damage than good if he goes back. That's the danger for him. Jason Martin thinks nobody's at home. Hasler is. No, he's not. Martin beats him. Norse looking at the clock, trying to get play underway again. Blake, there's nobody at home. Florimo. There was no fullback at home if Blake had it kicked ahead. Still no fullback. Ridge is trying to get back there. Martin out wide. They're going to bomb away. About 30 seconds left. Ridge climbs high, so he covered some territory to get over there.
Yeah, that was the right option to take, but the full marks to Matthew Ridge, who got back there. He was caught out of position on the previous ruck, got over there in time, and safe as usual under the high ball.
One of the most solid in the game. He got good support too from Roberts, who helped him protect the North Sydney defence. But was steaming through. Exciting first half. Both sides putting a lot of pressure on each other. The better of play enjoyed by Manly, but they haven't come up with a try. 40 minutes, and it's only 2 penalty goals courtesy of Matthew Ridge that has it 4-0 Manly over Norths. North Sydney make their way back for the second half. Jarvis still digging deep for a little bit of youth in rugby league. Fennick makes his way back out, heavily strapped, so he's in the lineup. The Bears looking to turn it around in the second half. Larson back for the Bears. Manly make it out for the second 40. They'll be happy if the scoreline remains in their favour with just those 2 penalty goals. The crowd looking forward to some more excitement in the second 40 minutes. And as the crowd now start to settle themselves for the second 40, one man who is missing in this North Sydney lineup there, Test 5'8", Peter Jackson. Here he is with Bill Anderson.
Yeah, that's right, Graham. Honours pretty evenly shared in that first 40 minutes, but Peter, I know you'd like to be out there.
Oh, I'd love to be out there, Bill, with a great crowd and that, but unfortunately I'm not, but I'm confident the boys can do the job.
You've been in the dressing room at half-time. What was said by Steve Martin? How are you going to get out of this?
Oh, well, I think that they've controlled the ball a bit better than us, and they probably had the better of the first half, but we scrambled well in defence and hung in there, so, you know, that's full credit to the boys. But I think we can come up with a bit more in attack, and I think we'll see Blakey really come to the fore this half.
You go back and enjoy that second 40.
I can't enjoy watching these games, Bill. I'm a nervous wreck, I told you that.
Peter Jackson. All right, he's already named somebody to get him out of trouble, and it is Phil Blake. 4-0 they're down, North Sydney. Larson. Be interesting to see how the 2 crops go. Lyons and also Fennick. It was the Bears who had to defend most in the first half. Jarvis was 16, Toole 16 out of 118. Bella and Roberts with 11 each out of 87 for Manly. Fennick shrugging aside the injury, hit hard by Roberts, he coughs up.
Yeah, that was a big tackle there from Ian Roberts. Fennick had a full head of steam up. Roberts met him at 100 miles an hour and was significant. The impact was significant enough to jolt the ball free.
Just wondering if the ball was stripped there. Fennick looked as though he was asking the question of Harrigan. Hosking. Great tackle from Conlon on the big front rower. That hurt. Roberts. Back for Dunford. Interesting statements from Peter Jackson about the Bears. What about Manly at halftime, Bill?
That's right, Graham. Peter told us what Steve Martin wants of the Bears, but Graham Lowe is very happy with the way Manly were going. He just thinks they can finish off a touch better.
Getting each other in each other's road there, and Hosking finish up with it. The ball comes clear, not stolen. Jason Martin up with it. Billy Moore takes it up. Those hit-ups have Hosking in front with 10 amongst the forwards. Jarvis, the veteran from Norths, with 8. McPhail ducking. That habit of his that nearly got him right through for a try in the first half.
He's had a huge first half. He's a player who's light on weight but huge on heart.
Martin loses it. Talking about pressure in this match, the number of players that have come up with a fumble. Martin is still down injured. He hasn't moved. The trainer out very quickly for Martin. Now Harrigan has called a penalty against Norths on Ian Roberts. Tony Ray is pointing back to Jason Martin, asking to check and see if he's badly injured. Now there was the tackle.
It's a big week for Jason Martin too. He has a record launch tomorrow. He's got a record coming out called Take Us to the Top, and I'm sure that that's what the North Sydney Bears will be hoping this year.
Well, the trainer has taken him back to the action.
He's back on duty.
Graham, I thought that Kevin Iro was a little bit lazy in that first half. He's a talented ball runner, a huge man, takes a power of pulling down, and he does all of that when the ball comes his way, but I just think at times he tends to wait. He's got to go looking for it, get himself more involved.
Well, look at this. The big crowd letting Harrigan know what they feel about this penalty against Norths, which gives Manly the opportunity to really put it to the Bears now, because they will need a converted try if Ridge adds another goal. Harrigan is saying to Tony Ray, when there's a tap restart, you guys get back with the touch judge. He marks up the 10 metres.
Yeah, that's a childish penalty, that inside the 10 metres. The touch judges indicate to the referee if the players aren't back, and the players at this level of football should know that.
So Harrigan getting some good communication from his men on the sideline.
The way Ridge has been kicking, this might be too easy for him.
Let's do it all again.
If he was playing golf, that'd be stroke number 1.
You do have to swing at the ball. I think it was last week you showed up your cricket skills, didn't you? Ridge from just inside the 22. Ridge gets 2 more. That is the most important goal of the match so far. Manly take it to 6-0 over Norths. The clash of the two North Shore neighbours. Graham Lowe hoping that if they can stretch some more points, they might end up on for and against in the top 3 after this round 19 of the Winfield Cup.
Yeah, the way the competition's shaping, it could well be sorted out on for and against as well.
Lyons taken by McPhail. Not into full gear, he couldn't because of that hamstring problem. Hosking climbing aboard is Jason Martin. Dunford finds Bella. Little Jason Martin is looking for the biggest men on the park to take on.
Manly got a huge back line at this stage, deep back line.
Stretched into their own 22. Hasler to the outside. Nearly got away. Good chasing from Tony Ray. Cunningham. Good quick play of the ball. They get out near halfway. Ridge with the kick. Down for Wilson. Turvey will take him low. He'll get the assistance of Dunford High. Halligan. No chances for him out on the wing in this match so far. Billy Moore running strongly. That's what the Bears need at the moment. Fennick. He gets it away to Blake. Short ball to Conlon. McPhail. The penalty from Harrigan brings a roar against the Sea Eagles now. Halligan coming over. A long way out for goal. Only 10 metres in from the sideline, so they will look for the converted try to square things up.
Yeah, they haven't had much field position. They haven't been attacking inside the Manly quarter with possession for a long, long time in this match. So let's have a look at what set plays they've got.
David Hall. They'll have the second tackle inside the 22. Adrian Toole. Bella, head on. Fennick sets himself, uses himself as a decoy. Then a decoy to McPhail. Long ball out. Lyons grabbing high on Florimo. Larson quickly from dummy half to the in goal. Is it too far? It is. Even the home side here find those in goals a little bit too short. Larson was looking ahead of trying to vary it on an early tackle. Ridge was up in the line. It was a chase, but it was too deep.
It's amazing, Graham, the difference between the in-goal areas at the various grounds. If that had been a Parramatta Stadium, then the ball probably wouldn't have gone dead.
Graham, we saw a game on Friday night, no try scored, and it was a super match, a defensive purist delight, and it's likewise here today. I'm enjoying this thoroughly, even though we haven't had a 4-pointer as yet.
That's exactly right, Bill. We think that the semi-finals being 4 rounds away, well, it's virtually on us now. So we're watching semi-final football here at North Sydney, and some of the pressure is telling.
Yeah, Manly there took a risk. They took the option of running the ball, taking a couple of risks out wide, and they paid the price. They haven't tried this sort of football so far in this match.
Not a good ball from O'Connor. He knows better. have more possession. Jason Martin trying to show it on the inside for Billy Moore.
Well, it worked against Parramatta last week, but that time didn't come off.
Tony Ray to Larson. Blake standing flat. Somebody's got to get started. Florimo tries, but he loses it. And just like semi-finals, whoever makes the most of their opportunities will win the game. We're going to get a couple. The ball's being lost. The penalties from the referee. The errors being made at either end by the sides. So far it's been Manly. Lions still not looking anywhere near 100%. 6-0 Manly. Lions gets it back. Tuvey. You just get the feeling that Tuvey's got to do more of that to take the pressure and the heat off the likes of Lyons and Hasler O'Connor. He's got to start to run a bit more.
I don't think that shoulder's 100% still.
Does have to create that other option though, Doc.
Oh, he's got to. He's got to put the defensive line under threat. He's got to make them think that he could run.
Ridge with the kick. Again, it's a good kick from Ridge, just inside the sideline. Not much of an angle either. He was under some pressure. The defence tried to get to him. He evaded one tackle, and then only inches away from the chalk.
No walkers. Tempo.
Do not come in with set. Do not back it off, Manly. Back off, Manly. Back it off, Manly.
Bears will know all about it if they lose this one. The most difficult task of all. On our Nissan Friday night next week to turn it around, they travel to where it's the hardest to win, Lang Park against the Broncos. Well, that next Friday night. Billy Moore with a good high-stepping run. Jason Martin. A couple of plays and they're in Manly territory. 7-1 they've got the scrums, the Bears. And it underlines the fact that the territory has been all Manly's. Those scrums being packed inside the Bears 22 on most occasions. Blake! He put the foot down and nearly got away. Last tackle. 2-1, the handling errors against the Bears. Wilson evades one. Puts the midfield bomber to Ridge. He beats Conlon. Taken by Hall and also Tony Ray.
Yeah, that was an off-the-cuff reaction, that kick, I think. There was no pressure put on Ridge at all by the North Sydney players. Obviously no communication.
Lions. Tuvey. Hasler. Hasler stands. Gets it to Cunningham. Cunningham will unload. No, he won't. He breaks the tackle. Then grabbed by the shorts and the jumper by Fennick. Bella. Bella motors over the advantage line. Throws it back 10 and 12 metres to Roberts.
This is where Kevin Iro has got to take a leaf out of Mal Meninga's book. Meninga would be in there now trying to help them get the ball out of that quarter.
Hosking. Last tackle. Haven't been able to put too much heat on Ridge. He still gets the kick in without any trouble. Down to Wilson. Hancock's got him. .34 metres out from their own try line, Norths. Martin's been doing a hell of a lot of work since half-time. So is Billy Moore. That was a pressure pass to Florimo. The defence was sweating on him. He had nowhere to go. And Bella picks up the dregs. Roberts continues on. Hammered by 3 defenders.
I felt that.
We heard it. Tuvey to Lyons on the run around. Lyons has got support. And it goes to Hancock. Hancock kicks ahead. That's out on the full and back to the 22. No one can work out the in goals.
No, it's just about every kick's been too long, whether it's been along the ground or in the air.
You can't stretch this field, otherwise they'll end up in the front row seats. It probably needed to be passed to O'Connor instead of too much space out there for Hancock, because The cover was given plenty of time to travel across with the long ball.
Yeah, but once again, there was good scrambling in defence from North Sydney. There's no doubt their scrambling defence has been excellent, but they've been caught out wide and on the fringes of the rucks.
Toole takes it to the halfway. 6-0 Manly over Norths.
Jones coming back for Manly. Jarvis coming back for Norths.
Norths will have a scrum go down just where they want it. And the big crowd look on as John Jones gets back into action. Fennick has left the field once more, and Jarvis rushes out there in 8.
And Roberts is coming off for Jones. Has come off for Jones, Graham.
Yeah, it's no surprise to see Mario Fennick come off. When you've got a corked thigh muscle such as that, it continues to bleed whilst you continue to play, so he would be severely inconvenienced at this stage.
I can't remember the last time we had a Friday and Sunday. I can't ever remember where we had 2 TV match of the rounds and no tries.
I can't either. There's no credence in the fact that a lot of people think that television affects ground attendances.
It's not often you'd see Manly play, some 50, 55 minutes of football without getting the ball over the try line.
It has been a real struggle for both sides. Tight and tough, and still plenty of entertainment Friday night, and again here. Bella! Conlon went for the big shoulder charge. Hosking. They call him the Mule. They certainly load him up with plenty, don't they?
He's a workaholic.
Ridge kicks to an open wing, but an awkward bounce for Halligan. The bounce that might tell North fans that it's Manly's day out at North Sydney.
Yeah, you're not well. He did well not to touch this ball. I mean, that's one of those balls you get, Brian, when you're facing down someone like Dennis Lilly. Just impossible to touch, even if you're a good batsman.
But at least that's not travelling 100 miles an hour.
No need for a helmet.
Halligan's upended. Lorimer. Still short of their 22. Adrian Toole. Jarvis. Good strong running.
Ian Roberts didn't get much of a spell. He's ready to take the baton again.
Roberts was only running repairs. It was a quick pit stop. Manly took out the round 4 clash between these two sides, 14-10. So there's little between them. Little between the missed tackles. All square. Bella. Right in midfield. The shadows of the stands creeping onto the field as O'Connor goes across field. Hancock to the outside of Halligan. Good cover. Halligan got to him quickly.
You're flirting with danger, Graham, though, when you give Michael O'Connor room to move. He's got a great step. He offloaded this man, Hancock, and a great despairing tackle by Halligan, because if Hancock got around him, it was a try.
Ian Roberts ran on from this side of the field as Cliff Lyons limped off on the other.
Long walk home for Cliffy Lyons. Right round the ground he's got to come.
Back it off, North. Back it off. Back it off.
So the hamstring is no good.
Here we go. Lost us. Stay on. It's out. Lost.
Norths surging clear through Billy Moore. Jarvis. And a new ground record at North Sydney Oval that will take some beating. 22,032. The old record set this year against Balmain, 19,472. Congratulations to the Bears for a super season.
You've got to congratulate them on the amount of effort they put into the day off the field as well. Always a spectacular day's entertainment off the paddock.
Roberts. He gets one away to Cunningham. Hancock's trying to get to him. He beats Wilson. Hancock hurdles one. He beats McPhail. Goes back the other way. Still beating tackles. Tooby trying to keep it alive. Magnificent play from Manly Norths. Scramble again though. They're rushing back in numbers. Bella will settle it down. No, he won't. Through the legs of Hasler. Hasler scoops it up. Beats a tackle. Takes on Toole. Runs away from him. Taken by Florimo. Good defence. Ridge to Tooby. Tooby goes back to Hancock. Hancock puts it down. Blake's got it. Happening everywhere.
And once again, Graham, North Sydney scrambling in defence and being able to cut this move off before they cross the line. And Phil Blake there, fortunate for Manly that Phil Blake couldn't get on the outside of Matthew Ridge because he was capable of going all the way up the field.
Larson. Florimo to Billy Moore. Iro went for the shoulder charge, didn't put him up. Florimo. They survive in defence. He puts the big kick in, trying to lift his side. He's chasing his own kick. Halligan's gone there down with him. So is Blake. And Blake and Florimo put the tackle on Ridge.
This is where they've had problems trying to keep Manly down inside their own quarter. They can't do it again here. Big run from Ian Roberts. The North Sydney defence isn't as strong as it has been, and that's where they've let this game slip away a little.
In trying to play some percentage stuff in the forwards, are we going to sleep, Bill, in the support play?
Maybe a little bit. I just think that they're getting tired with all the chasing they've been doing, and of course one of the things that drops off is your support play in that area.
Now Harrigan has got a forward pass against O'Connor. O'Connor argues that the pass was fine. It was quick hands from O'Connor back to Iro, and it was only a line ball. Maybe the halfway line will give us an idea. Touch and go.
Yeah,
very little in that.
The line ball.
The longer it goes, though, Norths have to be, I was going to say happy, but not with passes from the scrum base like that. Ian Roberts fired up, trying to say to his sides, come on, let's put them away. Martin's pass to Florimo was a horror. He couldn't do anything about it.
And this is where winning matches at this stage of the season comes down to pressure and which team can handle pressure better. Manly have been there and done it before. North Sydney, it's been a long while since they made the semis. Can they handle the pressure?
I still think you can sum up North's handling mistakes in 2 words.
He
Peter
goes
Jackson.
Tooby. Hasler inside. Stretching out. The cover comes across. Out to O'Connor. No. Harrigan says no. The last pass again. Harrigan smiles to Hasler. Hasler won't be smiling, but Harrigan's the fittest ref in the competition. Right on the spot. Does it go forward? I don't know.
It's a tough angle to try and call that from, but Harrigan was right on the spot. You picked it, but once again, great cover defence from North Sydney. Jason Martin, again, was the man across there.
Yeah, North's playing with plenty of enthusiasm, but they're handling mistakes. 2 words, Peter Jackson. They're just lacking a little bit of direction.
They're still in it. It's 3 penalty goals to Manly, 6-0. Blake. I was going to say the longer Norths hang in there, it's still got to be so frustrating for Manly.
Yeah, too, because they've had chances to put them away. Norths have yet to make a clear break in this match. Manly have made 5 or 6 breaks that they could have scored tries from, but great cover defence from North Sydney.
Over 60 minutes, no tries, plenty of defence. Overall possession favours Manly by 17. In the opposition half, they've got it by 18. It tells you plenty about the Bears' character.
I'm glad we don't get paid according to the number of try replays we call.
Especially this weekend. Ridge is not well. Someone else will play it. It'll be Hancock. Taken ball and all by Blake. Halligan over the top. I think he's just fallen down on the ball, Ridge.
And Ridge still down on the ground. It's always a dangerous situation when you've got your fullback down on the ground, because if you do drop a ball, it easily costs you a try.
Hosking, I think, copying an accidental knee to the side of the head. Dunford to Hasler, who was at half, with Tuvey at 5'8", with Lyons off. Kevin Iro back to O'Connor. He takes it well. Good balance. He kicks ahead. He gets back barreled as he kicked it.
Les Kiss about to go on for North Sydney, supposedly to replace Jason Martin, but Martin waved across, indicating there was no way that he was going to come off.
Maybe they thought he was injured. He tries to get out of dummy half to show them that he's okay. Jarvis, a war of attrition. Wilson. Florimo to Hall. Stokes shows him the sideline. He does well to stay away from the chalk. North's opening it up more. To Billy Moore. Midfield. Jarvis drags it in. The ball was passed behind him. Martin away from one. Taken, no, missed by Hosking.
Matthew Ridge was knocked very groggy after that previous hit he copped, and maybe it would be worthwhile putting a ball up in the air, but they've elected to go on the ground.
And again, Tony Ray says, I could have swore blind North Sydney Oval was longer during training. Les Kiss still can't get out there. Now Martin comes to the sideline, so he will.
And this will probably mean that we see Phil Blake at half.
Bella! David Hall chases Bella. Great run from the big front rower. The pace has been hectic from the start. Now it's telling. Jones. Some more missed tackles. 15 remaining. Cunningham. 6-0 Manly lead Norths. Hasler, no tries. Back for Cunningham. To Kevin Iro. He stands. He finds Hosking. He stands. He finds Ridge. Ridge steps. And he is finally put down. Jarvis coming over the top a little late.
If Iro gets involved, there'll be no holding him. Norths are very tired.
Jones. Manly looking for the try. A telling try. Field goal time. Ridge onto the left boot. There's the difference. What a great field goal. Manly do to Norths what the Magpies did to Manly last week. Very professional play. They set it up onto his left foot. Never wave it off the black dot. Manly 7, Norths 0.
Brisbane 34, Parramatta 16. Illawarra 32, Parramatta 2. And Newcastle 20.
Graham Lowe would have been sending out the message about field goal time. Now he's telling them how to keep the lead. Ridge gets only his second field goal of 91.
You talk about the number of breaks that Manly have made in this match, and they haven't scored, but it's been their defence that's been outstanding. To stop North Sydney from making one solitary clean break, I mean, it's a tremendous defensive effort. Something that Manly is not really recognised for.
Hosking.
Matthew Ridge showed us there, Graham, how handy it is to be able to kick with both feet.
Well, you've got to hand it to him, Bill, the way he keeps his cool. I've said it before, he is so solid.
Particularly for someone who's only been in the game 12 months, really. He's adapted perfectly.
Jones.
He's the ideal man to have a field goal attempt as well. You can't stop him off the left foot, you can't stop him off the right foot.
They were in trouble a couple of weeks ago up on the Gold Coast, and it was Ridge who kicked them to victory. Not the only time he's done it, of course, this year. Wilson and Kiss nearly get in each other's way. Stokes shows him to hit the sideline, and on the first tackle, Scott Wilson knows that he has made an absolutely major blunder.
Yeah, he tried to take Frank Stokes on, but the boy from Darwin was just too strong. As we can see here, just slides him straight over the sideline. Quite legal, that tackle.
That could be a big turning point as well, not just with the field goal. They've been enjoying a bit of a roll on Manly the last 5 minutes. Tuvey. Ducking under the tackle of Florimo. Iro to Cunningham. Cunningham running strongly. He's played well since he's got out there. Ian Roberts. Steps, gets the ball back to Dunford. Dunford to Cunningham. Loses it. 10 metres out. There's some tired-looking North forwards out there. They've had to tackle so much. 7-0 Manly lead Norths. Blake, he's the man they'll look to.
We've had to wait a long time, but one gets the feeling that elusive try is just around the corner.
Right now with a handover, ball being spoilt by Norths. Hosking coming away. Dunford looking around for the calls. It came from Roberts. Back to Dunford. Straightening Matt Dunford. Hasler going back to where they came from. Out wide to Hancock. He goes back up the middle. North still scrambled. Still showing the enthusiasm to get back there, to hold the line. Ridge. 10 metres out. Bella. Good defence. Northam pushed them back about 13 metres away. 14 from their own line.
You can guarantee when the try comes, it'll look just so easy.
Now Bella clutches at the back of his leg. A calf muscle injury for Bella.
And he wouldn't want to come off the paddock either, playing up against his old club.
Harrigan goes over to Blake, who's in trouble. So, trainer with Phil Blake, who was headed for the bin with a bad head injury. A bad cut to the forehead. He's the man they need most of all. It'll have to be a very quick sticks job on him. Jason Martin's going back. Jason Martin to the sideline as this ground record crowd put their hands together for both sides, who, as Phil Blake shows, shedding a bit of blood for their clubs. Roberts! He's caused them all sorts of problems in the second half, continually standing in tackles. It's on the last. Turvey kicking to the in goal, taken by Kiss. Chased by Turvey, but he's still in play.
Yeah, good work by Les Kiss to get back into the field of play, despite a great tackle there from Jeff Turvey.
Great strength from Turvey again. He took on Jarvis, the little man, and met him head-to-head. Now he chased Kiss. Now there's a penalty being given away by Jarvis, and he's got 10 minutes in the bin for doing something to Turvey. As we were in replay there, he's off the field for 10, and the penalty is right in front of the post. Turvey tackled him. Jarvis lashed out. Gave away the penalty, and this one from right in front.
Yeah, silly act by Pat there, giving little Turvey a clip over the ear. He had nothing to gain from that. It's just frustration. They're behind by 7 points. The clock ticking away. Everybody, including the most experienced man on the field, getting frustrated.
Ridge with his easiest kick of the day. Right in front for Ridge. 3 from 4. North Sydney. Nothing left after this but to really spread the ball. Puts it down the middle. Still no tries, but some comfort for Manly at 9-0 over Norths.
Just a reminder, at the conclusion of the game, all those children on the ground, would you please stay off the ground? Stay where you are on the ground.
Steve Martin trying to work out the puzzle for the Bears to get out of it. They've still got time, about 9 minutes.
Going onto the pitch. Thank you very much.
Graham Lowe won't smile until it's all over. The Bears, their unbeaten record at home in 91, is under fire. Hosking. And again, like Friday night, Western St George, it would be hard to find a player out there that really hasn't put in the effort.
It's been a tremendous effort, and especially by the Manly forwards who have backed up after the Test match. You're looking at Hasler, Bella, and this man Roberts. He's an outstanding game, bounced right back into form.
Great ball to Hasler, but he put it down. It wasn't a difficult pass, and Des just coughed it up. He was into the clear too. There could have been something right on the end of this one.
Yeah.
Martin was chasing across.
And Des would be enjoying the role out there at the moment. He's back in his favourite halfback position. As Gary Larson leaves the paddock, he hasn't had many opportunities to play in the halfback role this year. But with Cliff Lyons off the paddock, Jeff Turvey moves from half to 5'8".
Florimo beat the tackle of Ridge. Jason Martin to Billy Moore. 2-1. The opposition half possession for Manly. North's coming down for a rarity in the second half.
But the amazing thing about that statistic is that despite having all that possession in North Sydney's half, Manly haven't been able to score, which tells you a lot about the North Sydney defence.
Conlon through the legs, but there's a Manly player involved in the play of the ball, Turvey, who will be penalised. He was in the road of Les Kiss. Halligan, he got a penalty shot attempt early, but now they have to go in pursuit of tries. Tony Ray, Jason Martin, Toole. On the first tackle, it's 9-0 Manly over Norths in the MMI big game. Alexander, just over 6 minutes remaining. They need to score here. Florimo, back to Martin, did well to handle it. Wilson. Manly's turn to show North's about defence. Florimo, McPhail. Right in front of the post, 12 metres away. Billy Moore to Conlon. He throws himself at the line, pops up a ball, and Billy Moore goes back for it. But it's the last tackle against Norths. Bombs away from Les Kiss. Just short of the line, Ridge as ever safe.
Superb take once again, Graham, from Matthew Ridge. Keeps his eyes on the ball, doesn't look at any of the Norths players coming through, and never looked like dropping it.
The Bears with 12 men out there with Jarvis in the bin. If he comes back from out of there, he will only come back with the last 30 seconds on the clock. To the last 5 minutes. John Jones, big run for Manly in a match that might very well decide the real fate of these teams in the semi-finals. This round and 3 others remaining in the Winfield Cup at the business end. Then we're down to semi-final action. Ridge with the kick.
Cliff Lyons not worried about the result out there. He thinks they've got in the bag. He's signing autographs already.
Wilson slipping as he comes to Kevin Iro. Les Kiss. Good run from him. Now they need to go wide. Martin Bella limping with that calf muscle injury. So much better for Turvey today, especially in this second half, as he's taken on the defence a few times. I know he's been concerned by some shoulder problems.
Yeah, he's been probing and really working hard in the second half. He has had a shoulder problem for the past couple of months, but he's toiled away and put in his usual top standard match again today.
Billy Moore to Hall. They're not finished with the Bears. Halligan. No dummy half. Manly have it. They had a chance here. Ian Roberts will take his time to help his team recover. No dummy half at all. They went to sleep.
Yeah, they played so well in patches, North Sydney, but then they've done some silly things. And again, that was just basic football. You always make sure you got a dummy half there.
Just remind those children on the ground, would you please remain where you are and do not go onto the ground at the conclusion of play. And all other spectators are on the ground, would you please keep off the ground at the conclusion of play. Thank you.
Looking to get it back. 3 minutes remaining. Chris White. 9-0 to Manly. Ridge. We've had so many high scores right throughout the Winfield Cup. Now a weekend of low scores so far.
And as we continue to creep down towards the finals and grand final, we'll see the importance and value of defence. And in this match, if North Sydney are behind by 9 points, but if they didn't apply themselves in defence as well as they have, they could easily be behind 29 points to nil, the way that the possession has gone against them.
Martin. It was also this weekend that we get a look at Bill Harrigan back in the top spot too. He's handled the game well.
Yeah, he's had a good game here today. He's been under pressure in the firing line. He made a couple of errors a few weeks ago. Been out of the limelight, but he's bounced back today. He's had a faultless game.
Florimo, the league need him at his best. Conlon to Florimo. 2 minutes remaining. Wilson back on the inside. Ball went back for Hall.
And once again, that was a good decision, I think. I think when Wilson let go of the ball, I'm sure it moved in a forward motion, propelled it forward. Well, that replay may contradict me.
I think it did, in a fairly big way. I was waiting for that. I was about to say, we just talk about Billy Harrigan. Right at the death of the game, looks like what you call a regulation knockback.
Hughes 15, Pearce nil.
You'll get your chance, don't worry. Hasler. Jones. And I'm sure when you find it, you'll let me know about it. 60 seconds remaining. First up on Friday night, it was Western St George letting everybody know about semi-final football. Now Manly and Norths. The crowd no doubt would have been hoping for some tries. But they've seen a tough one. Both sides with so much pressure on them. Knowing that this game could be the difference, we might still get a try. Hasler beats Wilson. He's got support. Cunningham 3 metres away. Norths have done it all day the way they've hung on. Great defence, but it still might be a try. Hancock to the corner. Roberts, he deserves it. We have had to wait for 79.5 minutes. We get a try in front of 22,000 at North Sydney. Manly looking for the top three. MMI replay. Hancock had gone in looking for the ball. Now he was looking for a winger. It was a second rower in Ian Roberts, the biggest winger of all.
Yeah, Des Hasler, who made the original break, set up this try. North Sydney couldn't regroup it as they had done on numerous occasions previously, and Roberts goes over.
Manly elected to run the ball here on the last tackle. Hancock did well. He was out of position. He'd come in looking for work. He got himself back into the right position, and Roberts filling in on the wing finished off.
Big second half for Ian Roberts, the insurance agent, who was 26 last Wednesday night, celebrated with a test victory. Now he has a double celebrations with Manly's win today and his first try at 91. The Bears won't be able to celebrate a ground record of 22,000 at North Sydney with a win. Matthew Ridge, near perfect display from him today. His general play has been, and he's kicked 4 from 5. He is just as likely to add it this one from out wide. What a great goal kicker. What a performance from Manly. They needed this one. And it looks like the big performance might just about grab them top 3 spot. It was no slaughter. The last 6 points coming only in the last 30 seconds of the game. But the neighbours on the north shore of Sydney came together in the MMI big game. It was a shutout for the Bears, but it was the most important match of the season for both. An injured Martin Bella hobbles out to celebrate with his teammates. They did it today against Norths. Gallant in defeat, desperate in defence. 15-0 Manly. Roberts, the only try scorer. Ridge 5 from 6. He added a field goal to this great win for Manly, and they've busted the unbeaten record of the Bears at home at North Sydney Oval. sea of faces still out on the hill amongst this crowd of 22,000. They're going to celebrate right round the ground with their fans. Outstanding performance from both teams as we try to settle on our MMI Man of the Match.